Live from Chicago, this is News 3 Now's special coverage of the Democratic National Convention.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to News 3 Now this morning's live coverage from the Democratic National Convention in Chicago. I'm Kyrie Lee.
And I'm Josh Breiter. Chris Stanford is live in downtown Chicago with a look at the top stories from there this morning. Chris, good morning to you.
All right, Josh and Kyrie on good morning from downtown Chicago right along the Chicago River on the Chicago Riverwalk. Our assignment here at the DNC is to cover the Wisconsin delegates who are all staying in this hotel here, 95 of them elected officials, party leaders from across the state representing Wisconsin Democrats over the next 4 days. Each day here at the DNC has a theme. Today's theme is for the people. Tomorrow's theme is a bold vision for America's future. Democrats will aim to contrast their outlook with what they view is that of the Republican Party and former President Donald Trump. The theme for Wednesday is a fight for our freedoms. The party is expected to focus heavily on reproductive rights. And the theme for the final night is for our future. Several high-profile speakers are expected to address the audience just tonight. New York Governor Kathy Hochul will be one of the earlier speakers in the evening. And then 2016 nominee Secretary of Hillary Clinton is going to speak today. Dr. Jill Biden will also take the stage. And then the keynote address tonight will be given by President Joe Biden. President Biden originally, of course, was going to speak on the final night of the convention. That is, of course, until he ended his bid for re-election. Looking ahead to Tuesday night, conservative political commentator Anna Navarro will open up the evening's proceedings. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker will follow up. Former First Lady Michelle Obama is also on the slate for Tuesday night. Second gentleman Doug Emhoff and former President Barack Obama are tentatively slated to give remarks Tuesday as well. The convention co-chairs are expected to share the gavel throughout the convention. That is according to an announcement from the Democratic National Convention Committee. The co-chairs include Minnesota Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan, former Louisiana Lieutenant Governor Mitch Landrieu, Senator Cory Booker, and Representative Veronica Escobar from Texas. Now, while the Democrats are rallying around their nominee, Vice President Kamala Harris, tonight and throughout the next 4 days, there are protests scheduled near the convention center at the United Center, as thousands of them plan to demonstrate against what's going on over in the Middle East with the Israel-Hamas war. Some are drawing comparisons to another convention that was held here in Chicago back in 1968. That is, of course, when people opposed the Vietnam War, took to the streets. Violence broke out between them and police. That convention here in Chicago was one for the history books. This time around, police and even the protest organizers themselves believe it will not turn violent the way it did 56 years ago.
So we have a very large marshal team to make sure that the march stays together, to make sure that any conflicts that do arise get de-escalated. So, you know, we're taking very extensive measures to make sure that this is that this doesn't end up the same way that 1968.
Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson also weighed in on the potential protests. Here's what he had to say. Sorry for that technical difficulty there, folks. Back out here live on the Chicago Riverwalk. So Vice President Kamala Harris has already officially secured the nomination along with Tim Walz, Minnesota governor, here as the running mate. So really the next 4 days are really about rallying this party together and celebrating the passing of the torch, so to speak, between President Biden and the nominee, Vice President Kamala Harris. For now, live from down on the Riverwalk in Chicago, I'm Chris Stanford. We'll send it back to you, Josh and Kyrie.
Beautiful backdrop there in downtown Chicago. Chris Stanford kicking off our team coverage. Chris, we'll check in with you here in just a few minutes. The Democratic Party will hold its public roll call early on at the convention.
That's when the delegates will announce their votes to nominate Vice President Kamala Harris for president. Many delegates say the energy about the Harris-Walz ticket is palpable, and they are expecting to experience that energy on the convention floor this week.
I'm excited to be here. I think all the delegates, it was known. The Harris-Walz ticket was unanimous. We voted for her early. We voted for them. We're excited to see what they're going to bring this week, and we just know that the energy is going to leave here with much purpose.
The convention begins amid a major boost in polling for Vice President Kamala Harris. That's compared to the state of the race with President Biden as the candidate. Among likely voters, Harris has opened up a 3-point lead nationally over the former President Trump. That's greater than the margin of error. The candidates are tied across the battleground states. That's according to new polling from CBS News and YouGov within the last week.
This week could prove crucial for the vice president to show her position on key issues. She significantly lags behind the former president among registered voters in terms of whether they know what the candidates stand for.
Both candidates have their strengths regarding key campaign issues. Former President Trump has decisive advantages among voters who say a major factor in their vote is the economy, inflation, or the border.
Vice President Harris has the pick of the voters in other areas. Those who said a major factor in their vote is race and diversity, abortion, or the state of democracy are siding with her.
The DNC is set to attract visitors from across the country, and that includes right here in Wisconsin. One member of the state's delegation is Middleton State Senator and Senate Democratic leader Dianne Hesselbein. She joined us on For the Record in Chicago to give her take on what to look for at the convention.
I really think people in Wisconsin and really across the United States should really listen to what Vice President Kamala Harris has to say. How is she going to be uniting to our country? How is she going to, work with everybody? I think it's such a clear division in the Republican Party and what Donald Trump stands for that I hope that people tune in to see exactly what Donald Trump stands for and what Vice President Harris stands for.
Senator Hesselbein also believes the Democrats will be able to coalesce even around issues which have created divisions within the party, namely the Israel-Hamas war.
While Vice President Kamala Harris may have the tailwinds of the favorable polling like we showed earlier, inflation is working in the opposite direction for her campaign. The issue is perhaps most prevalent at the gas pump. Our Kyle Pozorski spoke to voters who shared their thoughts on the price per gallon.
11. That's the number of times the Democratic National Convention has been held in Chicago. But there is a different number people may be taking notice of on their way to the Windy City this year. 341, the current national average price for a gallon of regular unleaded gas.
So I definitely noticed gas prices.
Inflation has steadily gone up in the U.S. dating back for decades, with gas prices following suit. Take 1996, for example. During the middle of the Clinton administration, the national average was $1.23. Previous to that, in 1968, when Hooper Humphrey got the nom, prices were just 34 cents per gallon.
What would you give to have prices like they were in '68?
Well, I would give a boat.
But this isn't the whole story. Adjusted for our current buying power, the same gallon from 1996 would cost $2.46 today. Compare that to the 2024 national average, and it's only a 28% increase. 1968's 34 cents per gallon turns into $3.06, only 10% cheaper than right now. Some we spoke with say no matter what it is, there is not too much they can do about it.
We'll do what we need to do, just survive.
Just got to accept the prices, that's it.
Others believing if more people are conscious about prices, the better.
If rising prices makes people more aware of the gas they use, then maybe that's going to help us turn in a different direction.
That was our Kyle Pozorski reporting. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the overall high for 12-month percentage change in the last 20 years was 9.1%. That was in June of 2022.
The highest 12-month change for gas, 59.9%. That took place also in June of 2022. First Warn meteorologist Savannah Brito is here now with the first look at your forecast on a Monday morning. Nice start out there, other than some visibility issues, Savannah.
Yeah, that's really the only complaint. We have lower dew points and lower temperatures. It's comfortable. We just have a little bit of patchy fog. That's the biggest thing out there this morning. 6 miles. That's what we're down to in Madison. Full visibility is 10 miles. So you can see areas directly west and especially northwest. Lower visibilities. Boscobel at 3/4 of a mile. Black River Falls down to 2.5 miles. So if you are traveling in those areas or towards those areas, just allow a little bit of extra time, maybe 5 to 10 minutes at most. Not super dense, just might be some patchy, dense, brief fog that you may encounter while driving out there. 58 in Madison, temperatures still falling. Most of southern Wisconsin, anywhere in the 50s. 60 though in Monroe, 61 in Platteville. So really to our southwest and across northern Illinois, that's where the warmer temperatures can be found. Might see a stray shower out there as we head for the afternoon as clouds increase. We're mostly clear early this morning, mostly sunny through most of the morning, and then switching over to partly sunny skies. But I don't think that'll last long. Most areas, if not all across southern Wisconsin, should remain dry as we head for the afternoon and evening. Skies clear out again tonight. That'll allow temperatures to fall. We'll talk about how low they'll get and actually how warm this upcoming weekend's going to be. That's all ahead.
All right, Savannah, thank you. 6:09 still ahead for us this morning. How one organization is connecting exchange students with host families and how you can get involved.
You're watching News 3 Now this morning. Brought to you by Toyota.
It's Toyota's national sales event. Swipe into end of summer fun with an exciting new Toyota. Whether you're paddleboarding in a RAV4, mountain biking in a Tacoma, or tubing with your best friends in a Camry, you'll find plenty to post about all summer long.
Right now, during Toyota's national sales event, you can lease a new Tacoma for $349 a month or get 2.99% APR for 60 months on a new Tundra.
Come in today. Ooh, like.
Toyota, let's go places.
A little help here? Oh. Keep it down. The noise is making them angry.
Right now, buy one window and you'll get one free. Plus, no interest until 2026.
Call 866 for Feltco.
After my son was born, I was having a hard time leaving him, only being able to see him once before going to work and then once before bed. That's just not enough time.
At my old job, my entire check went to daycare to pay to be away from my child. We bring our kids with us in the mornings and they ride with us on our routes and then they go to school.
I'm on a route where I'm the one dropping my kids off at school. It's been phenomenal.
Being able to bring them with me has been really great for our family.
The burn pit at our base in Iraq had just shut down, but the poisons were around us everywhere. Back home, I got diagnosed with cancer, but the VA denied coverage to a lot of us who got sick. Tammy Baldwin knew that was wrong, and she wasn't going to let that stand. She worked with both parties to pass a law. So now, thousands of us exposed to toxic chemicals are getting the care that we deserve. It took a fight, but Tammy Baldwin, she's a hell of a fighter.
I'm Tammy Baldwin, and I approve this message.
Taking the time to savor Thomas's crunchy yet soft bagels.
Thanks, Tom.
It's Tom, actually.
Right, Tom.
Tom. You doing that on purpose?
Tam.
Tam.
How have we got to Tam?
Huzzah! A toast to breakfast.
These were my great-grandpappy's glasses. And now they're yours, son.
Why can't I just get my own?
What? No, these have at least a few hundred years left in them.
I think the kid needs his own. Get 2 pairs of glasses and a free eye exam for $79, all same day.
Yeah, I want my own.
Stanton Optical. Easy's our thing.
To everyone out there who loves Culver's,
the feeling is mutual. Everything's made fresh.
Everything. Everything.
It's our pleasure.
This is me and my happy place.
I wouldn't trade our Culver's for any other restaurant.
Culver's.
Yay!
We love our guests.
Love. As much as our guests love us.
This is me and my happy place.
From Wisconsin with love.
Welcome to Delicious.
Yeah.
You're watching News 3 Now this morning. Moving forward.
It's 6:13 on your Monday morning. We're going back out live to Chicago where our Chris Stanford is for our Democratic National Convention coverage.
Day one of the DNC, Chris.
Well, welcome to Chicago, Josh and Kyrie on. You know, part of News 3 Now's strategy here to cover the DNC over the next 4 days is to spread us out across the city. So we're in different locations to make sure that we're providing the best coverage that we can for you folks back in Madison and southern Wisconsin. So we're outside of the hotel that is hosting the Wisconsin delegates, the delegates that are going to be representing Wisconsin Democrats over the next 4 days. 4 states are actually staying at this hotel. And it's part of customs, tradition for them all to get together for a big breakfast before they head to the convention center itself, which is the United Center this week, about 3 miles west of here. So that begins at 8 o'clock, Josh and Kyrie on, and it's our best chance to talk to those delegates who are representing our viewers at home, get a sense of what they are expecting over the next 4 days, and that's starting here in just less than a couple of hours.
All right, Chris, thank you so much. Is there anything that we should be looking out for, particularly for the DNC, do you think?
You know, I'm curious to, I'm interested in watching the speakers. There are a lot of high-profile speakers. President Biden is giving the keynote address tonight. How that, so speak, passing of the torch goes. There's a tribute that some of the speakers are planning to give President Biden, including former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. That is a big one that's going to be in the national spotlight as she takes the stage later this week. So I think, you know, it's part of the celebratory acts that are going on here over the next 4 days, because it's all but done. The delegates have already voted, so it's more of just a lot of theatrics over the next few days. But some of these big speeches are going to be something to watch.
All right, Chris, thank you so much. We'll check back in a little bit.
New this morning at 6:15, one not-for-profit organization is working to broaden horizons by exchanging high school students worldwide.
SATUSA helps international students get placed with a host family and U.S. high school for an academic year or semester. Our Michelle Renee Quinn spoke with a local coordinator, and she's here right now in the studio to tell us more. Michelle Renee, good morning.
Good morning, Kyrian. Good morning, Josh. The Council for Educational Travel USA, better known as SATUSA, is looking for families to host international students. Now, any family can make a host family. Retired empty nesters, families with kids, without kids, single men or women, pet families, and non-pet friendly families. Anyone who can pass a background check. Now, I sat down with local coordinator Jill Ferguson, and she has experience hosting exchange students and says not to let the fear of hosting keep you from giving it a shot.
There are students that want to play all the sports they can. And then there's students that want to stay home and read and crochet. So really, there's a student for everyone. Don't let the fact that you're too busy or you're not busy enough or you're unsure, don't let that stop you.
On the fence about hosting? Ferguson recommends to try hosting as a welcome family. That's a 6 to 8 week commitment, and if you end up loving it, you can commit to the full semester or year. Stick around for the next half hour. I'll have the requirements and process to become a host family.
All right, Michelle Renee, thank you.
Of course.
6:16, First 4 meteorologist Savannah Brito here with your forecast on a Monday morning. Still dealing with some visibility issues out there, Savannah.
Yeah, it's a little bit foggy out there, guys. For the most part, there are much lower visibilities, and actually it's increasing at least a little bit. Black River Falls down to 2.5 miles. Camp Douglas at just half a mile. That's where the most dense of fog is. We're falling to 6 miles in Madison, 7 in Mineral Point. Boscobel at just 1/4 of a mile. So just be aware of that. If you're traveling northwest or directly west of Madison, allow a little bit of extra time. You might encounter some patchy, dense fog, not necessarily going to last that long, just something to be mindful of before heading out early this morning. Temperatures, those are actually going to start warming up at least a little bit, falling into the upper 50s across Dane County now. So are dew points. They're sitting at about that 60-degree mark, but I do think the next several days those will hover about the mid to upper 50s, so it won't be humid out there or as humid as what we have seen last week or did see last week. Those stay below 60 for the most part. And then as we head into the weekend, that's when temperatures and dew points are going to rise. So it will be humid and also above average as far as temperatures go for the weekend. I feel like it's been a lot of time since I've said that. 59 in Verona, 58 in Oregon, 58 in Madison, 57 in Stoughton and Edgerton. Temperatures are a little bit cooler than that. I think that's what we'll see more widespread of tonight. Lower 50s, a couple people falling into the upper 40s tonight into early Tuesday. That's the case in Camp Douglas and Black River Falls this morning. Temperatures will warm for the most part, mid-70s. I think a couple areas could squeeze out the upper 70s. Clouds briefly increase for the afternoon and evening. Might lead to a stray shower. I think most, if not everyone, staying dry though. Tonight we clear out, and that's when temperatures are going to fall into the lower 50s. Maybe a couple areas slightly cooler than that in the upper 40s. But then Temperatures warm right back up tomorrow. We stay about 10 degrees, though, below average into tomorrow. Temperatures probably only making it lower, maybe mid-70s at warmest. At least we'll have mostly sunny skies, and then as we work towards the weekend, that's when temperatures are really going to warm up further. You see those reds that are going to expand across the deep south, Great Plains, that actually travels east, and I think we're going to be above average maybe around Friday. That's when temperatures work closer to what's seasonal, but then over the weekend, definitely Saturday and Sunday warming up mid to upper 80s, maybe even close to the 90-degree mark on Sunday. Could last into early next week, but then temperatures cool by midweek next week, guys.
All right, well, I'm not mad about this forecast here, Savannah.
This is pretty nice, actually.
It is. It'll be comfortable.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you so much. And still ahead, opening a new arena.
Plus, in our next half hour, more team coverage of the Democratic National Convention in Chicago, including a look at the Democratic Party's official platform for the next 4 years.
As we head to break, a look at gas prices this morning. Time now, 6:20. We'll be right back.
Susan Simon, News 3 Now at 4 and 5 weekdays moving forward.
Under our roof, they're free to dream big. Because we're here to help protect those dreams. Bundle life and save up to 25% on home and auto. American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly.
Get an 11% rebate on your tiling project at Menards. Give any room a fresh look with the beauty and durability of tile from Mohawk. Mohawk features over 350 ceramic, porcelain, mosaic, and glass tiles. Crystal slate tiles are $139 each after rebate. Complete your tiling job with professional quality installation materials from Tech. We carry Tech mortar and grout for all floor and wall tile sizes. Get sturdy flex mortar for only $11.79 after 11% rebate.
Save big money at Menards.
Drive into summer with a new Honda. Heading out for a day at the beach or a weekend in the mountains. Make an impression with the unmistakable style of the HR-V or turn heads in the sporty Civic. And when you drive a Honda, you're driving with the 2024 Kelley Blue Book's KBB.com Best Value brand. So act now to get an offer you'll love. Buy online, reserve from select dealers, or hurry into the Honda Summer Event.
This is Kathy. She's about to see her dentist. She's afraid. Not because of the drill, but because of the bill. A big bill. But Kathy doesn't need to be afraid, and neither do you, thanks to affordable dental insurance from Physicians Mutual Insurance Company. It's easy to get this coverage. Don't believe me? Call or go online for all the details. You could even have this free information kit. This isn't a discount plan or preventive-only coverage. This is real dental insurance. It helps pay for over 400 procedures. That's a lot. I'm talking cleanings, fillings, crowns, bridges, root canals, even dentures. Bottom line, you'll have help paying for routine care and expensive major work. But if you want deductibles, forget it. There aren't any. No annual maximum either. Plus, you can see any dentist you want. Stop fearing the big bill. Start saving at the dentist. Call now or go to sendinfokit.com.
Physicians Mutual, Physicians Mutual.
We know the fentanyl coming from Mexico and China is a threat here in Wisconsin.
It's why Tammy Baldwin is working to stop it.
And Tammy passed the bipartisan Fend Off Fentanyl Act.
That takes on the Mexican cartels and the fentanyl coming from China.
And Tammy Baldwin voted 32 times to strengthen our border.
32 times to increase border patrols.
And technology to keep illegal drugs out. Because Senator Baldwin knows
keeping us safe is her first priority.
Tell Tammy Baldwin to keep securing our borders.
Under our roof, they're free to dream big. Because we're here to help protect those dreams. Bundle life and save up to 25% on home and auto. American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly.
Time now, 6:23 on your Monday. We've been asking you to share your morning with us. This one here is from our friend Gwen, and she is killing it with these photos here. What are
Gwen's setting the mood.
Yeah, she is.
Look,
I like how the camera's looking directly up.
It looks so cool.
Yeah.
Wait, what are we looking at? I can't see.
It's tough to see. Our monitors are a little
yeah, they're a
small,
little
but
flared.
it looks nice. It looks like a nice photo. I'm not really sure.
Let's just pretend like it's the moon.
I thought it was the moon at first. So I was like,
that's so
in the
too.
middle, but then
I
maybe
can't
like some
tell
lights
if it's
on
like
top.
a lawn ornament or something with the moon reflecting through it.
Right.
Maybe.
exactly.
I'm not quite sure. We'll have to
Cool,
go back
though.
and look at the email to see
What
what
a
that
gem.
was.
Gwen, if you're
picture,
watching,
though.
you got to send us
Yeah, a little
message
explanation.
here.
Yes.
We'll follow up. Trending this morning, the blowout performance to welcome the new Intuit Dome to the LA entertainment landscape, the new home of the LA Clippers.
That's right. It sits right next to the Forum and SoFi Stadium, bringing an entertainment hub to Inglewood. And it all kicked off with a rockin' Bruno Mars performance. The 18,000-seat venue will also serve as the basketball venue for the 2028 Summer Olympics. And like I said, can't go wrong with the Bruno. Apparently, we all have a different favorite song.
Yeah, if you missed it last hour, Michelle Renee was starting to sing Grenade, and then which one were you
You want to
singing?
give us a little more rendition?
I'd catch a grenade for
Then I was
you.
like, 25-karat magic.
Yeah, you both were vibing very, very differently.
So feel free to let us know whose song you like better. Who's the better Bruno
Which
Mars
Bruno,
performer?
Oh, boy.
They don't want me to pull out my real vocals.
I know.
Like, I
am
actually
not
can
a
sing a little
singer.
bit, but you know, I haven't showed up my real talents.
Well, we'll decide that at a
I don't think
karaoke
I'll
night.
ever
Yes, we
sing on
will.
TV.
Yes, we will.
Also trending this morning, a UPS driver is a hero after helping a woman pass out in her driveway in Georgia. Raheem Cooper was on his delivery route in this neighborhood when he drove past an elderly woman passed out in her driveway. He jumped off his truck and went to check to see if anyone was at her home when he called 911 and began rendering aid to the woman.
The next day, a Facebook post thanking him for his heroic efforts got thousands of likes. And just so happened, his mother, who was shopping for a piece of furniture for him, overheard employees at a furniture store talking about the post. And after hearing from his mother and reading the many comments on Facebook, management at that furniture store felt it was only right to honor him by gifting him the piece he wanted to complete his bedroom set.
It's awesome.
I love that.
It's feel-good stories like that that
Yes.
make my day. You know, just a little bit of kindness goes a long way. And then it keeps going and keeps going.
Keep paying it forward,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
Saying he did it without a thought. So
Without a thought.
I
love
love
that.
that.
Congrats.
All right, Savannah, how's the forecast looking this morning?
Yeah, guys, we're tracking maybe a stray shower out there. I think most stay dry. It'll be a good lake day. Cooler by tomorrow, and then we're back to above average temperatures heading into the weekend. Could see even a 90 or at least near 90 by Sunday.
More coverage from the DNC right after this.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
Right now, pet dander, skin cells, and dirt are settling deep into your carpet fibers. Stanley Steamer removes the dirt you see and the dirt you don't. Your carpets aren't clean until they're Stanley Steamer clean.
Stanley Steamer gets your home cleaner.
Don't let an appliance breakdown break you down. Shop Brothers Main's super in-stock selection from brands like GE Appliances with support stirred into every purchase. Whether replacing or remodeling, we've got you covered. Brothers Main. Feel like family.
Champion's Big Window Sale is back.
Do you have ugly, hard-to-open, drafty windows? Now is the best time to buy new Champion windows. Because when you buy two, you get two free. Buy two Champion windows, get two free? I guess that means if you buy four, you get four free. Buy six, get six free. Buy 10, get 10 free.
Hurry, Champion's Buy Two, Get Two free sale is for a limited time.
Great job, everybody. Thanks.
Call 888-4CHAMPION or schedule your free in-home estimate online today.
Everyone deserves the fastest, most reliable internet speeds, regardless of where they live. That's why Spectrum offers the fastest speeds in more neighborhoods than any other provider. So switch to Spectrum and get a powerful network that connects nearly 500 million devices.
Switch to Spectrum Internet for only $49.99 a month with free modem, no data caps, and no contracts. Plus, save with our 2-year price guarantee when you level up to a gig. Call 1-855-735-1336 or scan to call.
With Spectrum Internet, you can power all of your devices to enjoy streaming, video chatting, and gaming with the most reliable internet speeds. Get a powerful network that millions of customers rely on. I rely on Spectrum Internet. You should too.
Switch to Spectrum Internet for only $49.99 a month with 99.9% network reliability, no added taxes or hidden fees, and no contracts. Plus, save with our 2-year price guarantee. Call 1-855-735-1336.
Call now.
I became a nurse to make lives better. Today, that's hard to do because of the open border. I've seen firsthand the damage that Kamala Harris caused as our country's borders are. Hospitals everywhere are overwhelmed, and American patients are paying the price. My patients are covering the healthcare costs for people here illegally while their own care is jeopardized. Kamala Harris is weak and dangerous.
Preserve America PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Certain this is going to work?
Nothing to it.
For Imprint certain?
Certainty matters. 4imprint is your home for promo gear to wow clients and inspire your team. Check out 4imprint.com.
4imprint, for certain.
Get peace of mind with your annual Stanley Steamer dryer vent cleaning. We remove lint buildup to reduce the risk of fire and extend the life of your dryer. Plus, your clothes will dry faster too. Your dryer vent isn't clean until it's Stanley Steamer Clean.
Gets your home cleaner.
Live from Chicago, this is News 3 Now's special coverage of the Democratic National Convention.
Hello, everyone, and happy Monday. Welcome to News 3 Now this morning. I'm Kyrie Lee.
And I'm Josh Breiter. We start with our Chris Stanford joining us live from Chicago with a preview of the DNC getting underway today. Chris, good morning to you.
Josh, Kyriana, it's the big day here in Chicago. Good morning from the Chicago Riverwalk, not too far from Navy Pier. We're outside of one of the hotels that the thousands of delegates are staying at over the course of the week. Wisconsin's delegation is here along with 3 other states. They'll kick off things with their big breakfast before they head over to the United Center here coming up in about an hour and a half. Each day of the DNC this week has a theme. Today's theme is for the people. It's a callback to Vice President Harris's 2020 presidential campaign. Day 2's theme is a bold vision for the future. Day 3, a fight for freedom. Day 4 is for the future. We are expecting to get more specific on each day's theme of the morning of the night's programming. Now, looking ahead to the party's platform. Democrats released it last night. It is no different than what it was before President Biden dropped out of the race. It's a 92-page document that begins by saying President Biden, Vice President Harris, and Democrats are running to finish the job. Each section lays out contrast between Democrats and former President Donald Trump. The document spans issues including the environment, gun violence, civil rights, and the opioid epidemic. It touts the bipartisan border security bill that Republicans blocked earlier this year. It also includes sections about expanding tax credits for working people and criticizes companies for keeping prices high even as inflation has cooled. It does not, however, include Harris's new tax credit proposal. The vice president began laying out her economic policy agenda on Friday in North Carolina. She's proposing a $6,000 tax credit for middle-class families with newborns. The document's also missing her call for a federal ban on price gouging groceries. Still, the document is more detailed than Republicans' platform. That document spans 16 pages. Democrats' foreign policy section alone is 14 pages. Coming up later today, the delegates will vote to approve the party's platform. Harris is already, of course, the Democratic nominee. Delegates have already cast their votes. That happened virtually earlier this month. It was the first time a nominee was named prior to the party's convention. But the delegates will nominate her again this week. It's a purely symbolic roll call vote. The DNC is calling it a celebratory roll call, saying it'll give delegates the opportunity to celebrate Harris's nomination. This will happen tomorrow. There could be protest votes on the convention floor, but it won't have any effect on Harris's status as the party's nominee. Now let's get to the speakers. Today we are expecting to hear from multiple big names in the Democratic Party. President Biden will deliver the keynote address this evening. First Lady Jill Biden, Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson, and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton will also speak today. Keynote speeches begin at 5:30. Programming starts at 6. Organizers say speakers will aim to make the argument that Trump only cares about himself, while Democrats are fighting for Americans. Now, DNC officials say Dr. Jill Biden, Mayor Johnson, and Hillary Clinton will all pay tribute to President Biden. The president himself is expected to use his address to hand off the party to Harris. Officials say the president does not plan on being in Chicago past his appearance tonight. So here we are kicking off the 4 days of the DNC here in Chicago today. We're covering the Wisconsin delegates again here outside of the hotel downtown Chicago, where 95 of them will be representing Wisconsin Democrats today. So Josh and Kyrian, we've been talking about it for a while, and it all kicks off this morning.
Boy, that backdrop behind you, it's so beautiful. It almost looks fake this morning, Chris. What's the atmosphere like in downtown Chicago this morning?
Well, compared to the Republican National Convention last month, security, at least downtown, is rather minimal. This isn't inside of any sort of security perimeters, though. So the security we are seeing is mainly handled by the hotels themselves and a few street cops walking around. It's a couple of miles away, 3 miles away at the United Center, where they have that hard security perimeter where there are intense sweeps. Vehicles are searched. Magnometers, the whole 9 yards before anybody can get into the convention grounds. But for here, we're enjoying this beautiful view down along the Chicago River as things are rather peaceful here. We'll send it back to you, Josh and Kyrie.
All right, Chris, we'll see you in just a few minutes. Thank you.
And speaking of security, with thousands of activists expected to protest in Chicago, security, as mentioned, will be tight. While the speeches and evening events will take place at the United Center, daytime business will happen at McCormick Place downtown. The city announced closures around those areas in advance, but other restrictions weren't announced until this weekend. The Bidens, Clintons, Obama's vice president, and her running mate will all be staying in downtown hotels during the convention, prompting large security fences to go up along sidewalks throughout the city.
Even with that security, we're expecting massive protests each day of the convention. Groups are limited to a perimeter of about 3 miles from the United Center. Activists are gathering in support of multiple causes, but many are calling for a ceasefire in Gaza. Protests started yesterday with hundreds marching along Michigan Ave. The protests remained peaceful and there were no reported arrests. Law enforcement in Illinois say they'll arrest anyone who vandalizes the city or becomes violent.
And just as a reminder, we will be live in Chicago all morning, every day this week. Our crews will be out during the day as well for each show. You can watch our coverage right here on News 3 Now or find it all on the Channel 3000 mobile app. You can find that in your app store.
Switching gears now, rocket fuel and mac and cheese might have more in common than you ever imagined. So much more that you might be eating them.
That's right. And a new Consumer Reports investigation reveals a harsh chemical more commonly used by rockets, missiles, and explosives is making surprise appearances at your family's dinner table with potentially dangerous health consequences. Our Michelle Renee Quinn has the details.
It's hardly a household name, but perchlorate is a chemical that helps rockets reach for the stars, and alarmingly, also our dinner plates.
Perchlorates can enter our food and water via water that's used to irrigate the crops. It can also be contained in the plastic containers that we use to store our food.
How serious is the problem? Consumer Reports' recent test found perchlorate in 2/3 of food samples, with the highest levels in baby and kids' food, fast food, and fresh produce, such as boxed mac and cheese and baby rice cereal, and even in some seemingly healthier options like cucumbers and baby carrots. With no single serving exceeded safety limits, multiple servings throughout the day could add up to concerning levels, especially for kids.
We're concerned because perchlorate can disrupt thyroid function, potentially affecting metabolism in adults and brain development in children.
CR reached out to several food companies, including major baby food manufacturers, about these findings. None have provided comments so far on whether they're aware of and taking steps to minimize it in the products. And if you're wondering if scientists only just discovered that perchlorate is a problem in water and food, think again. It's been a known contaminant for years.
While our federal regulators have known about this problem for decades, they have been slow to act.
The EPA is now under court orders to propose limits on perchlorate in drinking water by November 2025. So what can you do now to improve the safety of the food you feed your family?
Be aware of these issues, but should not panic. They can reduce the risk of these chemicals to their children by feeding them a varied and healthy diet.
Also, getting adequate iodine intake can help offset perchlorate's effects. Foods like whole wheat bread, seafood, dairy products, and eggs help you get your daily dosage of iodine without the extra sodium from iodized salt. This is Michelle Renee Quinn.
And perchlorate can also contaminate drinking water.
Consumer Reports suggests checking your water report or having your water tested and adding a reverse osmosis water filter if appropriate.
All right, 6:38. Let's check in now with meteorologist Savannah Burrito. How is our Monday morning shaping up?
Guys, the only problem early this morning, that fog that we're continuing to see, not necessarily expanding, but we're still down to just 6 miles of visibility across Madison and most of Dane County. It's more widespread and much lower of visibilities west and also northwest of here. Lone Rock down to just 1/4 of a mile or around 3/4 of a mile. That's the same for Camp Douglas. under 2 miles in Black River Falls. So just allow a little bit of extra time, few minutes, maybe 5 to 10 at most. Temperatures, those are still falling. We're down to 58 at the airport, slightly below normal. Not as cool as what we're going to track across all of southern Wisconsin tonight into early Tuesday. There's a few 60s, mainly to our southwest Platteville, holding at 61 early this morning. Below average temperatures, though, not necessarily today. It'll be seasonal. A few areas cooler than normal, but especially tomorrow into Wednesday. We'll warm back up heading into the weekend. We'll talk about how high temperatures are going to rise Saturday and Sunday, and also that stray shower chance this afternoon that's coming up.
All right, Savannah, thank you. 6:39 is your time on a Monday morning. Still ahead for us, a live look at the United Center in Chicago as we're bringing you team coverage this morning. We're going to check back in with Chris for the importance of Wisconsinites during the convention.
And we'll also take a look at how one organization is connecting exchange students with host families and how you can get involved. We'll be right back.
I became a nurse to make lives better. Today, that's hard to do because of the open border. I've seen firsthand the damage that Kamala Harris caused as our country's borders are. Hospitals everywhere are overwhelmed, and American patients are paying the price. My patients are covering the healthcare costs for people here illegally while their own care is jeopardized. Kamala Harris is weak and dangerous.
Preserve America PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Shop from the largest selection of Chevy trucks and SUVs in Wisconsin at Bergstrom Chevrolet. All with Bergstrom's negotiation-free upfront pricing, including our exclusive 7-day price protection and money-back guarantees. Stop in or shop and purchase at BergstromChevrolet.com.
Hanson's windows, roofing, siding, gutters, bathtubs, and showers are guaranteed. Get 50% off installation or enjoy no interest and no payments for 1 year.
Call 1-800-Hansons. Get it done.
Broadway has arrived. See the best of Broadway. Subscribe at Overture.org.
Wood decks can require hours of tedious maintenance every year. Our decks outlast wood 3 to 1 and are virtually maintenance-free. And all of our decks are backed by our extensive lifetime warranty. This month, you can save $1,000 on your new deck project. Visit the website or call the number for your new deck today.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
The alarming spike in inflation soaring to its highest level in nearly 40 years.
That is called Bidenomics.
Gas prices rose again today, reaching a new all-time high.
We're still dealing with inflation, and we've got super high interest rates at the same time.
Bidenomics is working.
2/3 of Americans are just struggling to make ends meet.
And this comes after Friday's jobs report showing a spike in unemployment.
And we are very proud of Bidenomics.
Chicago hosts the Democratic National Convention, and News 3 Now will be there. We'll bring you live team coverage all week as the Democratic Party takes center stage in the Windy City, rallying around their presidential ticket. Plus, we'll talk to delegates about the issues that matter most to voters here in Wisconsin. Campaign 2024 coverage live from the Democratic National Convention in Chicago. All this week on News 3 Now, moving forward.
You're watching News 3 Now this morning, moving forward.
Welcome back, 6:42 on a Monday morning. Just like the RNC in Milwaukee, our team coverage continues at the DNC in Chicago this morning.
That's right. We're checking back in now with Chris Stanford, who is live in Chicago right now. Chris, what can we expect for today?
Well, today is all about kicking things off. All of the delegates are in town. They're staying at hotels like the one that we're outside of. We're covering the Wisconsin delegation, who will be representing Wisconsin Democrats over the next 4 days here. Today's theme is for the people. Tonight's big keynote address is going to be President Biden himself. Expect a lot of attention to be focused on the president and kind of paying a tribute to his time, his decades in public service over the majority of his life. Wisconsin, as we have been talking about, we hear the nominees talk about just how important Wisconsin is to securing the White House, both Republicans and Democrats. And we're seeing some of that already on display here in Chicago this week. Let's talk a little bit about why Wisconsin is so important here. It's part of that crucial blue wall of states, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, that tend to lean Democrat, but they've been laid out as kind of the clearest path to victory for Kamala Harris. So the Democratic National Committee's secretary is from our state. He'll be leading the celebratory roll call from the stage tomorrow night. That's when delegates hold a ceremonial call for Harris, who already received the official nomination earlier this month. That is not all we're going to see from Wisconsin this week. Because of the importance of our state, Wisconsin will be featured all week long, including appearances by Governor Tony Evers, who is one of the delegates himself. Evers is scheduled to announce the state's delegates tomorrow for that roll call. Speaking of the delegates, there are 95 of them staying here downtown Chicago, where we are on the Riverwalk. It's our job, our assignment here this week on the morning show to cover the delegates, because they have a big breakfast to get things started coming up at 8 o'clock every single morning. It's our best chance to talk to those delegates who are representing you folks at home. That includes elected officials, Governor Tony Evers, the Secretary of State, the Attorney General, Mayor Satya Conway from Madison will be here. State Senator Dianne Hesselbein from Middleton will also be here. So that's our assignment coming up here in about an hour and 15 minutes. For now, Josh and Kyrian, we'll send it back to you.
It's interesting just to see how spread out everything is in Chicago compared to what it was for you guys in Milwaukee, Chris.
It is rather interesting. It is different from last month in Milwaukee, where you had several downtown city blocks cordoned off, where everything was going on essentially. Here in Chicago, you have several different sites. So security is rather lax here downtown, where a lot of the delegates are staying. But then you have different locations across the city, the United Center and elsewhere, where there is a harder security perimeter, where more of the action is going to be happening. So as our strategy to cover everything that's all spread out, we have different teams staked out across the city to make sure that we're not missing a single angle over our team coverage here the next 4 days.
Chris, thank you so much. We'll check back in just a little bit.
Now let's get to First 4 meteorologist Savannah Brito with your Monday morning forecast. Good morning, Savannah.
Good morning. We're still dealing with some patchy fog out there. It's still dense in some places. That's mainly just directly to our west. 3/4 of a mile. That's what they're down to in Boscobel. 2 in Camp Douglas. So those visibilities to our northwest have actually increased at least a little bit. Still hanging on to 6 miles in Madison. Same with Janesville down in Rock County. So allow a few extra minutes if you are traveling early. Temperature is still holding in the upper 50s. 60 though in Verona, 58 in Madison, 57 in Edgerton. Most temperatures across southern Wisconsin have fallen into the 50s. A few areas slightly cooler than that. That's where that patchy, more dense of fog has been located this morning. 48 in Camp Douglas, 47 in Black River Falls. We'll see more widespread lower 50s tonight, so it will be a more chilly of a night compared to what we have seen the last couple. Might be a good night to open up those windows into early tomorrow. Temperatures are going to be at least dew points rising through the weekend. The comfortable week with dew points sitting at 60 or even below that. Most of the week we should be in the mid-50s. So right now our warmest dew points, those falling the remainder of the work week. So very comfortable ahead until we get to the weekend. That's when humidity levels and temperatures are really going to rise. We're looking at above average temperatures, near normal today, but this upcoming weekend, that's when we'll see temperatures rise. Most of us mid-70s. That's as we head into the afternoon, might see a stray shower. Some areas could top out at 77 or 78, but I think most of us widespread mid-70s today. And then cooler tonight, most of us lower 50s, couple mid-50s out there. Few areas could fall into the upper 40s again. That's more likely northwest of Madison. And then tomorrow, lower 70s to mid-70s at warmest. So tomorrow will be about 5 to 10 degrees below average. And then we're warming back up. Friday could be near 80, near 90 though on Sunday. So it'll be a warm weekend ahead. We're finally back to above average temperatures, at least what August, in my opinion, guys, should feel like out there.
All right, Savannah, thank you. New this morning, one organization is broadening horizons by exchanging high school students worldwide.
That's right. Satusa helps international students get placed with a host family in U.S. high school for an academic year or semester.
Our Michelle Renee Quinn is here now after speaking with a local coordinator. Good morning, Michelle Renee.
Josh, Kyrion, good morning. The Council for Educational Travel USA, better known as TETUSA, is looking for families to host international students. Now that's right, I did sit down with local coordinator Jill Ferguson, and she has experience hosting exchange students and says they become a part of the family, and the culture that the students bring into the home is just as enriching as the American experience for them.
I think that it is so beneficial to my younger kids to keep learning about culture and keep learning that there are other people out in the world that live a very different life than you do. But there's positives to all of these different ways of life. And there's things that we do that we celebrate now in our house that we wouldn't have celebrated before just because we have now our international students.
Ferguson encourages anyone who is on the fence about hosting to try it as a welcome family. That's a 6 to 8 week commitment, and if you end up loving it, you can commit to the full semester or year. She says anyone can make a good host family.
It can be a retired couple. It can be a single mom or a single dad. It can be empty nesters that kids just went to college. It can be a young family with little kids. It can be anybody that can pass a background check and has the room, has the want to host.
Requirements to host are simple. You have to have a bed with a frame. Now, your student can share with another high school student, but they must be the same gender and within 3 years of age. You have to provide meals and transportation. Students who come to the U.S. do not drive, so transportation is required, but they are able to take the school bus. Now, there is no financial requirement as the students come with debit or credit cards from their home country that their parents reload. And the process to host starts with you filling out an online application. Hosts must also pass a background check and home interview. If you're interested in signing up to be a host family, you can find a link attached to this story on channel3000.com.
All right, very interesting experience. Michelle Renee, thank you.
Absolutely.
And coming up in the morning sprint, more about day one of the Democratic National Convention.
But first, if you have a little kid turning 3 soon, please let us know so we can show their picture on TV.
Sponsored by Three Bears Resort, Indoor Water Park and Conference Center in Warrens, Wisconsin.
Mark, a little help here?
Oh, keep it down. The noise is making them angry.
Whoa. Hey, I'm not a beekeeper, but I can replace these windows fast.
Let Feldco be the experts in your home renewal. Right now, buy one window and you'll get one free. Plus, no interest until 2026. And we'll get it done Feldco fast.
Buy one window, get one free, and soon. Hurry. Call now.
Call 866 for Feldco.
We know the fentanyl coming from Mexico and China is a threat here in Wisconsin.
It's why Tammy Baldwin is working to stop it.
And Tammy passed the bipartisan Fend Off Fentanyl Act.
It takes on the Mexican cartels and the fentanyl coming from China.
And Tammy Baldwin voted 32 times to strengthen our border.
32 times to increase border patrols.
And technology to keep illegal drugs out. Because Senator Baldwin knows
keeping us safe is her first priority.
Tell Tammy Baldwin to keep securing our borders.
Let's do this.
Introducing Chevy's best lineup of SUVs ever. The rugged, always-ready Trailblazer, the first ever Traverse Z71, and the Chevy Trax, starting at $21,495. When it's your time to shine, Chevy's got you.
Get 1.9% financing on select popular 2024 Chevy SUVs when you finance with GM Financial. Chevrolet, the #1 selling brand in Wisconsin.
Right now with Papa Murphy's, we've got a great deal.
Which means I make more great pizza.
Get select large thin crust pizzas for $8.99. Papa Murphy's. We make great pizza so you can make the pizza great.
Such a great deal.
$8.99. That is a great deal.
Oh, another morning to savor the crunchy nooks and crannies splendor of a Thomas's English muffin.
Tom, which is a nook and which is a cranny?
That's a nook, cranny, 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 nook, cranny. I mean, they should be teaching you this in school. Huzzah! A toast to breakfast.
We would never hit 12 drunk.
Clutch it up drunk? Not a chance. Do a stoppie drunk? We would never drift drunk. So you should never drive drunk. drive sober, or get pulled over.
I'm Eric Hovde, and I approve this message.
There's a side of Eric Hovde you might not know. In his 20s, he was diagnosed with MS, and in that moment, his life and priorities changed. Eric started Hovde Homes. Hovde Homes rescue abandoned children from sex trafficking and slavery. For children who never experienced real love, Hovde Homes offer the love, care, and support they need to heal. MS changed Eric's life, and thousands of children are alive today because of it.
Wanakee Remodeling, your window replacement experts.
It's 6:54, time for the morning sprint.
Chris Stanford starts us off in Chicago this morning. Good morning, Chris.
Day one of the Democratic National Convention. We're covering the 95 delegates representing Wisconsin and Democratic state voters. The theme for today is For the People. President Biden will deliver today's keynote address. Coming up in about an hour for the Wisconsin delegates, they'll get together for their big delegate breakfast and then board buses and head to the United Center. Back to you.
Chris, thank you. And tomorrow, the vice president will be in Wisconsin. She's campaigning in Milwaukee with her running mate, Tim Walz. The two will be hosting an event at Fiserv Forum. Meanwhile, Donald Trump's running mate, J.D. Vance, will be in Kenosha for a press conference. It comes days after his visit to Milwaukee last Friday.
A new lawsuit claims hackers have the personal information of billions of people, including social security numbers and addresses. A hacker group claims to have stolen files from a company called National Public Data, which runs background checks for many employers. Security experts recommend you put freezes on credit files at the three big credit bureaus, Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion.
And two people are dead after a crash in Janesville. It happened over the weekend at the intersection of East Delavan Drive and Beloit Avenue. That's near the Rotary Botanical Gardens. Janesville police say the driver failed to stop at a red light at the intersection. The driver was arrested after failing a sobriety test and is in police custody.
A first warn traffic note starting today. A portion of North Lake Street in Madison will be closed for 2 weeks. It's the purple stretch you see on your screen. The southbound lane will remain open. If you want to head north, you'll have to take Park Street to Langdon. That is the green line on the map.
Temperatures will be near normal this afternoon. Can't rule out a very stray shower. I think most, if not everyone across the area stays dry. Then we're down to 74 tomorrow. Cooler weather on the way that'll last through about midweek. Late week we warm back up. And this weekend, above average temperatures. I feel like I haven't used that word in quite some time. 85 Saturday. Could push 90 on Sunday. I'm here for it, though. We've only seen 5 90s this entire summer, which
Still
is
summer.
Super rare, yeah.
So we have a little, like a month, just over a month of summer left.
Yes.
I can't believe it's almost
I
September.
know. Yes. Let's not talk about it.
I know. We're avoiding it.
Thank you, Savannah. Thanks for joining us. More DNC coverage throughout the day right here on News 3 Now and Channel3000.com.